Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Nina Silic, nutrition and lifestyle coach, and today I'm going to talk about how to find the right diet for you and what that looks like. Getting cozy today. I'm feeling the coziness. I just want to snuggle up on this couch. But before we do, we have diets to talk about. So, how do you even know what diet is right for you? There are so many diets out there. It's unbelievable. I've literally lost track of how many there are. You know, you've got keto, you've got low carb, low fat, Atkins, Mediterranean, carnivore. Like, I don't even know what else. Paleo. Like, there's outrageous types of diets out there at the moment. So no wonder it's super confusing to even try to decipher what is going to be right for you. So what I'm going to do is share a little bit of my experience over the years in how I've gone from trying certain types of diets and how I actually found the right diet for me and how I managed to sustain that in my lifestyle right now. The first time I actually decided to start a diet or like a diet plan was because I wanted to get into competing and I wanted to lose some weight, and I'd never actually actively followed like a set diet plan in my life before that. It was just, oh, I'll just eat some more, I'll just eat some less of whatever I want to eat. I really had no idea about nutrition when I was younger, and not really any idea about like what even to eat or how to go about losing weight. Like, I really didn't know. And I actively just wanted to be fit and healthy and lean, and I thought being fit and healthy was determined by how lean you were at the time, because that's when, you know, we didn't have Instagram, you didn't have all like the Insta fitness people out there spreading all the scientific stuff we have today. So it really was about like the bro science and, you know, sticking to a set meal plan, and this is how you do it, and you train and you do cardio every day and that kind of thing. So the first kind of diet plan I ever got was really cutting out a lot of food groups. It wasn't like called anything. I would call it maybe like clean eating, I guess. Clean eating, and also like set meal plan portions. So it was 6 meals a day, because at the time that was thought to boost your metabolism, which we now know isn't the case. But you know, 6 meals a day, protein in every meal. And when I wanted to, like, if I wasn't dropping weight, then we'd cut out certain food groups. So I wasn't eating any dairy. I then would cut out fruit if I wasn't losing weight, and I would reduce my like rice and potato or sweet potato to like less and less and less. So it really was very, I guess, restrictive in the sense of I could only eat what was on the meal plan, and anything off that meal plan, I was like, that's a bad food because I'm not allowed to eat it. Even though my meal plan would change from time to time and the food options would change, and I'd be like, oh, this food is now good, everything else is now bad, which is ridiculous when you think about it. But that's exactly what my thought process was at the time. So the positive about that was I was losing weight. Like, I was getting really, really fit, really, really lean. I was doing a lot of training, but my food was so restrictive that I didn't really have much of a life. Like, when you have to stick to a meal plan, I'm sure many of you who have followed any kind of meal plan before know that you can't deviate off that meal plan or you feel like you failed. So I started getting a lot of negative thoughts about food and really built a negative relationship towards food, because I really started looking at foods as good foods, bad foods, and really feeling guilty if I ate those bad foods, and would then like try to combat that with hours of cardio or whatever the case may be. And then really building social, like, anxiety around social situations, because when you go out, you know, and you're social with friends, there's alcohol, you know, there's restaurant food, there's meals that have been, you know, prepared by like chefs at restaurants, and you don't really know what's in it. And because that's not food that I made myself, that wasn't on my meal plan, I used to freak out about it. So it wasn't really anything that was sustainable. You know, I felt like I got to a point with it where I was like, all right, I was starting for a contest. However, when I wasn't on the contest prep, I still didn't know how to eat normally, or how to not eat the same foods, or how to not restrict like I was. Like, I was scared of food, I was scared of increasing food, and scared of adding in other food varieties. I was scared of eating out all year round, let alone just on like a contest prep. So that's not really ideal. You can't live like that. And I got to a point where I just thought, if I have to keep doing this to be in shape, I don't think I can do this anymore. Like, I'm done. Like, how do people live like this? And it was really a bit of a breaking point for me. And not only that, just really striving for being super, super lean all the time, eating really restrictive and really strict, I just really damaged my body. My health was not in a good place. So I got to a point where I was like, I need to make a change. I need to find something that's going to suit me. So I then switched and thought, oh my gosh, okay, this would fix my hormones. I was told to cut all carbs out, really eat a lot of fat. I wasn't eating keto, but it was just a much lower carbohydrate diet and lots of fat. So I was eating still lots of whole foods, lots of really good foods, lots of fat sources, high protein, but I really cut the carbs out. Which was great at to a certain point, but I really also found with that, you know, I was used to eating carbohydrates. So, my energy levels really did drop. I was quite tired all the time from that, me personally. I was tired just from life in general, but, you know, from my diet, a lot of fat made me quite bloated. My gut didn't really like it, and it was missing the carbohydrates. So I did try that for a period of time. But again, that wasn't really sustainable for me, because I genuinely enjoy eating carbohydrates. I just really love those types of foods. So for me to really go out of my way to cut those out was like a really big effort. And I got to a point where I was like, I just want to eat carbs and I'm not happy. So then that's also not sustainable if it's something that you're really restricting things that you enjoy eating. And I'm like, what's happening? Like, why can't I find a diet that I like and I can stick to that's not restrictive? And when I was following that diet, I was eating much more calories, so I gained a lot of weight, but it wasn't from the fats itself. It was just because it was more calories, because with fats, it's easy to consume more calories because they're very calorie dense. And I wasn't really tracking my intake at the time. I was just eating. So it was really easy to blow the calories out of the water. Because with diets in general, what you guys have to understand is that if you are trying to lose body fat, you have to be in a calorie deficit. There has to be some level of restriction there. And it doesn't matter what diet you follow, like whether it's Atkins, carnivore, paleo, keto, whatever it is, there always has to be some form of calorie deficit there to get the results you're looking for. So I didn't know this at the time, and I was just at my wit's end. I'm like, I'm trying all these things. I don't know what I'm going to do, because now I'm really unhappy with my body. I've gained all this weight. And then I finally got introduced to something called flexible dieting. And I'm like, what? I can just eat total calories and protein and carbs and fats, like numbers, and I can eat what I want pretty much. And I was like, oh, this is great. So now I've got to a point where I can just intuitively or mindfully eat and still roughly be on a similar calorie intake. And I only track my food maybe a few days a week. Unless I've got like a specific goal where if I was about to enter a fat loss phase, for example, I would then go back to stringently tracking. But I guess tying it all back to what diet is right for you and how to find out what diet is best for you, you have to really figure out what's going to be really sustainable for you and your lifestyle. And that's what I did. And before, I didn't have access to all this information out there. You know, we didn't have all this like dieting culture in our face. Whereas now it's like there's so much wonderful information out there about nutrition and dieting, but it can get a little bit overwhelming because it's hard to kind of sift through all the noise for all the good information, right? So I guess for me, it was really about trying different types of dieting to see what worked well for me, and then applying that to my lifestyle. And it's, I think, going to evolve over time. So you really have to think about, what are your goals? What is your lifestyle? What does that look like? And what's going to be practical for you? So, you know, for me to try to follow a really strict diet, or to follow like a keto diet, for example, it's just not possible. It's just not sustainable. I'm not going to enjoy it. So if I'm not going to be able to do it, it's going to be difficult for me, then there's no point, because I'm just going to fail, right? So really figuring out what's going to work for you. So for some people, you know, if you are, let's say you're working in a hospital, for example, something like intermittent fasting might work well for you, because you're really restricted to the hours you can eat. So why not narrow that window down, for example? Or I don't even know, there's so many options, let me think. Or if you're somebody who's really new to nutrition and you do need a meal plan to help you get started, that's okay. And then later you can evolve that meal plan into maybe some food tracking and swapping out foods, and then evolving that into just choosing all your own foods that fit calorie targets, and then move into macro targets, for example. That's what you can try. So it's really about figuring out what works best for you, what you enjoy eating. So this is, I know it's kind of ambiguous. It's like, figure out what's right for you. Well, you do. It's about trial and error. But if you cannot see yourself on a diet for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months from now, then honestly, there's not really that much point in doing it, because it's unsustainable for your lifestyle. So dieting shouldn't be too crazy hard. It shouldn't feel like you're dying or trying to kill yourself, you know. The crappier you feel doesn't mean the result is better. It should be sustainable. It might contain a level of discipline or some restraint. That's pretty normal when it comes to any kind of calorie deficit, for example. But when I talk about just swallowed. So this could mean dieting calories or a calorie deficit for fat loss. This could mean maintenance. This could be a surplus. It doesn't really matter. Choose to eat what makes you happy. Choose to eat what's right for you, and choose to eat what's going to be sustainable for your goals and for your long-term happiness. That's it. Woo, we got through that. If you guys found this video helpful and you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and make sure you subscribe so you never miss a video. I really appreciate you guys watching. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you next time.